We're good? Okay, 6:30, we'll call our meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Paul is not going to be able to make it tonight. Okay, first order of business is to adopt the agenda. So we need motion 07163.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move that the agenda be adopted as presented.
I'll second.
Questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. C.A.O. Lee. First one was...
Okay, yeah, we have two motions. One is for the previous 2014 to 2018 capital investment plan. We did have a motion at the previous council meeting, which was to rework a specific component of that plan. We did that, and then after going back to the be readopted by council, there was information that Brenda had in there where the different activities we had done throughout the years were all sort of outlined. And I believe Brenda could probably speak to this a little bit better than I can, but there was some of the projects that we're allowed to push into next year to finalize that. So the project itself is everything's there. It's all in your agenda package. So we are going to require a motion to have that 2014 plan sort of revisited. Basically, made that the capital investment plan. What that allows for us to do is we're able to use all of our gas tax money to essentially drop right into that street. So if there is no other sources of funding, then the actual money that we would be putting into that, things develop the way that we hope, and that road, that development happens and the road gets put in. It looks at this point like we're going to have some pretty concrete funding there. If something happens and the plan needs to be revised and it doesn't materialize with that road, we can revise the plan and we can go back to having a group of smaller projects. But this was the one big hit item, and it was kind of the cleanest way to go for our next plan. Thank her for doing.
Okay, we'll start with motion 07164. We need a mover and a seconder, please.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move that the document entitled Village of Baldoon Revised, parenthesis 2020, close parenthesis, 5-year capital investment plan for the GTF Administrative Agreement 2014 to 2018 be adopted.
Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. Motion carried. Next is the second motion, 17165. Mover and a seconder, please.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move that the document entitled Baldoon Capital Investment Plan for the GTF Administrative Agreement 2019 to 2023 be adopted.
Aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. Motion carried. Okay, that's it for our special meeting. We need motion 07166.
Since my mic is still on, Mr. Mayor, I move that the meeting adjourn at 6:38 p.m.
I'll second it.
On the motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. Okay, so we'll move to the committee of whole. The first is to adopt the agenda. So we need, are there any additions or deletions in the agenda? Okay. Paul won't be here, so we'll take any input that we may have. So, if anyone has anything, I have to have a reply back before the 31st of December, but with Christmas and everything coming, I'm going to try and have that by the 15th. So we have from now till the 15th of December. If anybody has any, comments or any things they would like to see and what's going to take place. I have also reached out to the medical center here in Jacket River to get information from them for what they would like to see as well, and we can combine that with ours and go. So we'll move forward with that, and I'd like to have any feedback that anyone has by the 15th of December. Okay, the second one was the one-ton truck purchase for Public Works. The truck that we have now, I know we had put that on hold, but the truck that we have now will not pass the inspection, so we will be without a truck. That, if we're without a truck, the guys can't do their work. So we need to get them a vehicle, or we need to come up with a plan as council as to what we're going to do. So we'll have that on the agenda for the next meeting. Anyone got any? Yeah, go right ahead.
There was the asset management plan that was raised the last time. So between now and the next meeting, we're working right now to put together the plan for the vehicles specifically. We're not going to get into the fire trucks right now, but we are looking at the public works and everything. So for the next for the next meeting, I should have some sort of a comprehensive plan together for council.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, if not, okay, we'll move on. Deputy Mayor Culligan.
The safety protocols at the arena. I know last month we had quite a serious accident where someone fell and 911 had to be called and the ice surface had to be evacuated, and it was quite a scary incident. I also know that the arenas in the region have helmet laws or helmet rules about not stepping foot on the arena ice surface unless you have a helmet on, which I don't think we have. If we do have it, it's not being followed, and there are no signs posted to say skate at your own risk. So it's not the first accident, it's not going to be the last accident, and I'm wondering what we can do to bring in better and stronger safety measures over there. Can we make a helmet, make helmets mandatory? Yeah, I'd really like to do that, although my kid will hate me for it. But yeah, I would really like to see that. Landon looks like he's wanting to talk to that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I would think that before the next meeting, you'll probably see that implemented. I've
Okay.
started to compile the incident reports and all the different information that I have on it.
Yep.
And we'll meet with the arena staff and make sure that all of our policies are aligned. And yeah, I would expect that there's going to be a helmet policy in the very near future.
Okay, and anything else in terms of other safety protocols in any other areas of the?
Great opportunity for us to take a look right across the board, right? So
Okay.
it's, you know, we've been doing a lot of work with the arena. We adjusted hours. We got some great communication going on with the staff, especially with the COVID. There's a lot of things that we're really going back and forth on, and it's kind of a work in progress. You know, the different minor hockey associations. So lots of stuff going on with the arena right now. So it's a good time just to sort of revisit everything.
Yeah.
So you'll probably see something coming from me in the next 1 to 2 weeks, I would think.
Perfect, okay, thanks. That's it for me.
Okay, anyone else have any comments or additions to it?
Oh, Mr. Mayor, just maybe the point, I'm still surprised that at the skateboard park in Bathurst that I see all these kids with no helmets, and I'm thinking, whew, unless that's fake concrete that they're skating on. But I think we're into something very necessary here.
Mr. Mayor, I remember last time I went public skating was a long time ago, but at some point, period of time, there was a rule list on the walls at the rink and helmets before getting onto the ice and not getting, and it was, they were harping on something else, like minor hockey was still in Beldoon, so that's how long ago it was. But they were harping on something else, and it was about kids not getting on while the Zamboni was still on the ice. So we did have the rules in place, and one of the rules was you weren't allowed to go on the ice without a helmet, even as a coach. So the policy's been in place wherever the document resides at this point, and it's lost and stuff. So it's just a matter of implementation. And that's probably just a good clarification point for us, even from a liability standpoint, is I'm pretty sure that policy is there. We just need to figure out how to enforce it.
Okay, thank you, Sandon. Okay, anyone else? Okay, if not, we'll move on. Councillor Carmichael.
Yes, the 2021 budget, I want to set a date, and I was thinking the date of December the 21st, before the regular meeting, to go over the budget. If that's everybody's okay with that, 6:30, and we'll do like we had planned last year, everybody do a section. Is there any comments on that, I guess?
Can we do it in half an hour?
Well, we could do it. We can run in maybe into the regular meeting a little bit.
Yeah.
So-
And I'm perfectly content if I don't have to take a section, because I know that there are others who could present that better than I can.
So are you suggesting we start at 6:30?
Yeah, 6:30 or 6, whichever. And that way there, we could get it, or we could do it in January at the committee of hold, whichever is more suitable for the people around the table.
I think January committee of whole would be better, would give us more time. Oh, no, we're not having a meeting in January, that's right.
Or January, the regular? January, the regular meeting, perhaps?
Yeah, I think January makes sense. It's the month that it's the year that it's going to be implemented. So,
Okay. So we need an hour or half an hour to present it? Maybe do the meeting at 6 o'clock before the regular meeting in January?
We could do it the same way we do special meetings. We could do it, start at 6 and then go right into our meeting, if it doesn't take the full hour.
Yeah, we can do that, okay.
Okay,
Let's set it up for 6 o'clock.
perfect.
Okay.
The second item on my list, on my agenda, is the Beldoon Community Event Committee had asked me to do this. They're always scrambling to get money, so I was thinking they're going to bring a motion on the table to get money for the events until December, which will be the seniors baking, and they have some contests going. So they're looking for approximately $1,000 on that. And also in January to March, for the events, again, the budget request was $2,500. So that'll be on the regular meeting in January.
Okay,
Okay?
there's gotta be some way we can set this up that they don't have to continually come to council, right?
I
We
agree.
put that money for those events, we put that committee in charge of doing it. So I don't know if we do that by a motion, or
Could
Brenda,
we-
maybe you can enlighten me a little bit on how would we do it?
Gina was in to visit with me one day to talk about some other things, and we kind of went over that at the same time. And I advised her if she kind of had an idea in January of what they thought they were going to be doing roughly for the next several months, she doesn't have to wait. She could get them all kind of approved in one swoop, and then they're off and running, right? So it wouldn't have them being waiting and stuff like that. They could just say, we know these are events we want to do, and then I said if one comes up out of the ordinary, then it's pretty easy to get it fixed as well. So it gives them that leverage then to keep on working on what they want to work on without having to come back every time to you guys.
Okay, so maybe, we'll put that on, at the meeting, we'll put that on, that's what we'll do, we'll allot them that money, and then they can, whatever number, yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I've got a question, just as kind of a point of reference, in how we drafted the committee bylaw, and we've had this conversation at that committee meeting, is we drafted this committee bylaw so that basically this budget item that we have for events and culture, which is in our budget, is approved and to be executed by this events and cultural committee. My question would be, is there responsibility to us not necessarily coming and asking us for permission to spend the money which we've already given them to spend? Isn't it rather that they need to report back on it? Because I'm fairly certain that's the process in place. If not, then we didn't write the bylaw effectively. Because committees of council are meant to take decisions off of council's plate, not put more on.
I think because of COVID, things have kind of changed and they're doing different events. So I don't think they know exactly where they're standing where it comes to money. Because before, we had money for the Christmas in the Village, and we had money for the seniors and stuff like this. But now the events that they're doing are like different because of the COVID. So I don't think that they're quite clear on how to get to the money, because it's not the same events that we were doing in the past.
No, but we're still using the same money.
Well, we're still using the same money, but yeah, and it's a new committee, so it's.
Oh, yeah, no, it's nothing with the committee. Nothing but compliments and praise for the committee. It's nothing about that. It's, do we have the infrastructure set up in a way that they, like, I don't mind that they're coming back and asking us for permission, and especially as it's the beginning, but eventually the idea is that a committee is not supposed to do that. And really they're to report back, and at the end of the year, if we aren't happy with the job that they've done, then we go and we replace members of the committee. But that's, down the road. That's the recourse, not, oh, I don't like this idea, I'm gonna vote no on it. No, they're supposed to be able to do it, and it actually has nothing to do with the committee per se that's in place, just are our committees actual committees, or are they just volunteers that we occasionally throw money at?
Yeah, I agree with you, Sandon. So I think, through Brenda and Landon, they can set this up somehow that they're not coming back to us, that whatever money we've put in the budget for those events, even though the events change, it doesn't matter. There's still events we're doing, and they take out of that money, and and then if we run into a problem, we'll have to fix it. But I don't foresee that happening. But I mean, sometimes they want to do things and we don't have a meeting, and they want a motion for money, and they have to wait, or they don't know if they should be doing it or not. So I think if the money is there, and they work with Brenda and Landon, then that's be it. If we run into a problem, we'll fix it at that time. Okay.
Just, Mr. Mayor, I'm just looking at one of the events is scheduled for December with a request for funding. I expect our regular monthly meeting may be too late to confirm that contribution. So I don't know. I'll go on record as saying it'll be a yes vote for me, even if the event has already happened, because I'm assuming that it will happen before that date.
Yeah, you're correct, and that's just what I was getting to. The event, even though if we were going to allot the money that way through a motion, they want to do this week, and we're not having a meeting till the 21st, and that's come up 2 or 3 different times. I attend most of the committee, events committee meetings, and I hear that. I'm not a voting member, but I do sit there, and this comes up very often, where they want to come back to council, but they want to have the event prior to. So that's why I'm saying, if we allot them the money, and I don't think that even takes a motion to council, unless I'm wrong, because we've put the money in the budget for them to spend that way, just that we're spending it different than we have other years. So I think it's just a matter of telling them that they check with Landon and Brenda and set up whatever system works, so that they're not forever coming back to council. I think everybody's in agreement with that, are we not? Okay. Okay, that's it for that.
No, that's it for me. So I'll let Gina know to give Brenda or Landon a call, or both, and they can forward that information to her, because we're working on one of the events the last 2 days, so I guess it would have had to be a yes anyway at the regular meeting.
Okay, thank you, Lillian. Councillor Davenport.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of things quickly. I see a few of the neighborhood unsightly and unsafe premises have survived another year, and are going to be home to all kinds of furry creatures. And so I'm only asking if we might be able to have an update on where our where our, not necessarily our policy, I think I know where it is, but where our actions are with respect to some of the targeted items, and maybe if we can have something for a regular meeting in a couple of weeks.
Jump on that, Joe. I wonder if it would be worthwhile for us to reach out, because the planning commission has, obviously received our information and is processing it. And I do recognize that there is a lot of hurry up and wait from their perspective. They'll issue the order and then they have to kind of, give the people time to, but I wonder if it would be worthwhile if maybe they could do something, even just like a written report that they could submit to council just with an update every month. I don't know if we necessarily need to have them come in and present it, but at least if they could do something for maybe the next 4 or 5, 6 months, I could put that over to them and see maybe if they could, just a quick update, just to say that these are the ones that are actioned, or these are the dates that they have until, they can comply until. So I'll put that over to the planning commission.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Obviously, I see a few messes have been cleaned up, which is nice, but a few are just lingering on, and I think it just reflects badly on the neighborhoods where they are, and it reflects badly in a number of ways. Property tax being one, and just the fact that it's an ugly thing. And I'm constantly reminded of the, what's the name of that border town again that I referenced, not far from Fredericton, but how quickly they took care of when this current council was elected in 2016, when their current council was elected in 2016, how quickly they went up and down Main Street and got rid of a lot of those old dilapidated buildings. And my goodness, they're not that far away from here. If they can do it, we can do it. And my second issue, Mr. Mayor, is we'll recall that when we did our budget process and we renewed our commitment to the housing subsidy program, we also thought that there was probably some room there because it had been successful, it achieved a lot of the things we wanted it to achieve, but tweak it a little bit to make it a little more inviting to young families with younger members. So I'm not sure that I have the end ideas, but I was thinking that perhaps our clerk treasurer and CAO Lee could perhaps bring forward knowing what the budget is, bring forward a concept for consideration and adoption in the near future, so that becomes our new policy.
Yeah, and I think everybody's got a copy of the policy, so, all the council should read it over as well, and if they have anything they want to add or do to that, let Landon know, and then, yeah. And you're right, I mean, these policies should be kept up to date and should be, should be reviewed at least on a yearly basis, so.
And just as a point of interest, two weeks ago on Friday afternoon, I was listening to the political panel on the CBC. What's their afternoon program again, from 4 to 6? Anyway, it's the last thing they end up with every week. They bring in a political panel, and the last thing that was mentioned was one of the panelists said, "Oh, I want to put a plug in for the city of Bathurst, who have just come up with a housing policy for first-time purchasers, $2,500 off the price of the purchase, and I believe a 75% discount on the first year of tax assessment." And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, we probably should send a letter to CBC and let them know that, well, this is where the city of Bathurst got their idea. There's nothing like putting a plug in for ourselves also, but it's nice to know that we're probably a little ahead of the city of Bathurst on this, but not to say that maybe we didn't steal the idea from somebody else, but that's a whole different story. But anyway, so I guess that was just that served as a reminder to me that we need to revamp ours and try to achieve the phase 2 of our objectives. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Nick. Okay, yeah, anyway, it's always a good idea to review those and let them go. Okay, CAO Lee.
No, I'll go.
Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry, Sandon.
Uh,
Councilor Kaloran.
No problem. Just wanted to reach out and kind of give a heads up or a request to CEO Lee after reading the new information, and thank you, Brenda, for attaching the document. I had a hard time finding it, but I remembered the intent of the email that Landon said. It does look like the province is handing over a little bit more autonomy over secondary highways, meaning our Main Street 134, to the municipalities in general. As 134 applies to us, it's pretty important as it's the biggest road in our community, connects us all. We've had a number of issues over the years, be it heavy trucks and moving through and speed. It gets a little bit better and gets a lot worse, and then it gets a bit better and gets even more dangerous. Moving into the winter, there it is. We've had complaints from a number of concerned individuals, so I'd like to have a motion on the table in whatever form it has to be in. The earlier in the winter, the better. I'm not hard pressed to have it on the December agenda, but January at the latest, to move any speed limit over 60 kilometers an hour in the village to a maximum speed of 60 kilometers an hour.
Okay. Landon and I were supposed to meet with DTI today, but that meeting got canceled, so we were hoping to have this information. And the idea that we were going to present to them was that at the beginning of Beldoon, Lower Beldoon, up to the smelter would be a 60-kilometer zone. From the smelter to Chaleur Sawmills would be an 80-kilometer zone. Tujar Road would stay the same as it is now.
Yeah.
From Chaleur Sawmills to the other end of the village on Main Street would be a 60-kilometer zone, and Jacket River Drive would be a 60-kilometer zone.
Sounds good.
And our idea behind that was twofold. One, it would discourage the trucks from coming down there, because now
Yeah.
they're having to drive 60 kilometers an hour,
Well, and
where they can drive
RCMP
80 and 90 on the other one.
The RCMP might actually enforce that.
And they would, and the
Yeah.
RCMP would enforce that. So that was that part of it. Also, there was the part of a crosswalk at the Jacket River School that we were going to present to them. We have to advise them the way I see it, and I'm not exactly sure
Yeah, it says
how the advisement has to go, whether it has to go to the minister, it goes to the local engineer like Daniel LeBlanc, but that we were going to find out at this meeting, which didn't happen. So we're hoping to have that meeting later this week.
Okay.
And as probably you guys are aware, we did have a little glitch in the snow removal earlier this morning, where the plows were kind of late getting out, especially in the back settlements where they had all the snow. They were out on the main street where we had no snow, but where they had snow, there was no plows, and needless to say, the phones were ringing pretty good. So those are some of the things we're going to talk with them as well. So if anyone else on council too has any ideas that they want to bring forward or want us to chat with them about in that meeting, we'd be certainly happy to do that.
Mr. Mayor, yeah, I've also received an email from a resident back on the Colony Road about the dangerous conditions, especially since the snow has fallen, but even previous to that with rain washing out the roads and that sort of thing. So I'd like that to be addressed as well when you do meet with DTI. I know I've already talked to Landon about it.
Yeah, so I've already connected with the resident, so we'll continue working on that. Further to Councillor Kaloran's information, I think, I'm not sure if, we don't know how the process goes. So if there's going to be a motion required, I'll let you know. If it's something that we need to, I mean, the way I read that document is we kind of have the autonomy to do it. So we just need to keep them informed. So first and foremost, we just don't know how to implement it. It sounds like we've got the capability of doing it. So we're just going to learn. That was one of the parts of the meeting. Something I did want to add is that they don't have something in that document about broken lines and solid lines. I know that's something that's come up previously at council meetings. I don't think we have the capability of making changes to that, but the speed limit specifically was mentioned. And I think that's it.
It might be worth a shot asking them about that, though, especially in around where the mill is, where that passing lane is, when you come around, and where people are pulling out of the town site. Yeah, because I know when I lived there, there were some near misses when you pull out and someone is passing.
But if we keep it 60 up to our light industrial park, then if I was an RCMP officer, I'd plug myself in the entrance to the town site and tag people coming around.
Yeah.
And I think that speed limit thing
Speed limit will solve both.
a lot of our problem, or some of our problems, anyway.
Some, yeah.
It definitely makes the risk of breaking it a lot more, because given the speeds that some of those trucks were going at when it was 80, they were going 100, 110, 120. If they're going 100 and it's a 60, that's their license, not just their trucking license, their license gone. So, I mean, that's as effective as we can after not being able to implement weight restrictions, so.
I'm hoping that if and when it is implemented, that we will have the police force up here to enforce it. Because, I mean, it's going to be tough to break for people not speeding through the village and not, I mean, just going the 70s and 80s that they're used to right now. So, or the 90s and 100s. So going down to 60, I hope we are going to have the enforcement of it.
Yeah, I think we will, and that's coming up as well, so. The RCMP have been pretty good to enforce things. I know when I got some calls regarding the school zone, and I relayed that information to them. I myself seen them there a number of times, and I know some people that said they got a ticket, but I don't know that we'll have them here continually, but if they move into that office here, which it looks like it's going to happen now, we'll at least have them around more, and that in itself will be a deterrence. Okay, is that it, Sandon? Okay, now CAO Lee.
Okay, thank you. And that was a great segue into the first point. So we have received a MOU that was provided by the RCMP for the use of the policing services room that we have here. We've already put it over to Andre. I'll circle back with him and get some feedback from his perspective. Brendan and I have already sort of gone through it real briefly, so there is a couple points that we're going to have to touch on and have adjusted. But if there's anything that council sees in that document that you want to make sure is included in the final draft, we'll also have Andre put together a rental agreement that would go, in conjunction with this MOU. But if there is anything that the council specifically wants to see included in that, please try to get that to me as soon as possible, because we are going to be circling back to legal on it pretty soon.
Okay, any questions, anyone?
So up until now, we've had no written commitment that they were gonna move into that spot?
No.
I don't believe so.
We built a custom unit with levels of construction, and we had no contractual commitment that they were even gonna come.
No, but the reason that was built in the first place was for either the way we were going to go, and that we're still working on that. We need the approval from the minister to either go with Bathurst, the Police Baldoon, or with a regional force that would go from Bathurst to Baldoon. And those are still being worked on, they're still in the works.
Yeah.
And with either one of those, that was the reason for the building of that room at the time.
No, I understand the intent. I mean, we all agreed with the intent of it. I think the interesting thing is we've all taken a lot of heat over the cost of this building, and up until this month, apparently, we haven't had a contractual obligation for the police officers to take up that room, and that room costs more than the rooms across the hall. It's just interesting. We took a lot of risk on that one. I don't see Petarush or Beresford or any of the others who might be doing regional would be getting in on this regional policing doing that. And I'm happy that it's worked out, but I didn't realize that we were rolling the dice on this. I thought there was a formal commitment going forward, so it's just good to know that we didn't have one.
Okay, yeah, and so my second one that I'll have on the, and I just wanted to make sure that council is aware of this. So I've touched on this a couple times. There's some holdbacks from the phase one construction that I still haven't let go to the general contractor. And one of the components that was not completely done was the internal hub system. That we have going on. So we've received more information on it. The software is finally available. There is a hardware fee that's going to be attached to it. So I've included that. So it's going to be about a $5,300 fee for the installation and the programming and the labor to do that. Right now, the way that we have our operational plan written, and really with COVID going on right now, it would be ideal to have those hubs operational. When we do, the way that we have the operational plan written is when we go into an orange, we sort of go into a bit of a lockdown type of thing and we close off access to a lot. Would be very convenient to have the hub system working. I guess really at the end of the day, without this component, the hub system would not be working. We can get by. We've got by for the last couple of years without it. It would be good to have it operational. But if there's any information that council wants before we bring this to the table in December, if there's any further information that you want on it, reach out, let me know, and we can do some research.
Okay, anyone have any questions for Landon? Comments? Okay, if not, we'll move on. Brenda?
I just wanted to bring to the attention of council, the January committee full meeting would have been scheduled for January the 4th, and with the Christmas break the week before, would be no time to prepare agendas or much else. And councils themselves is probably going to be enjoying the vacation breaks. So you have, I guess, a couple of options. You could either recommend canceling that one completely for the month of January, or you could motion to have it at a separate date at another time. But the option is yours, but we'd need a motion at the December meeting on what choice you make.
Mr. Mayor, I suggest we just not reschedule, we just cancel the committee of whole and just be
Okay.
really prepared for the regular one.
Yeah, we'll do everything at the regular meeting. And we can, if something comes up we need to, we can always do something, but I think we'll have a motion then to cancel the January 4th meeting. Okay? Any other questions, comments? If not, thank you, Brenda. Okay, anyone got anything else? If not, we need motion 07168.
I'll move to adjourn.
Mover and a seconder.
Oh, I'll move to adjourn, 7:14.
And I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Against, nay. Motion carried.